Hello everyone, welcome to another TLDR video. Today we're going to be talking about The Djinn Awaits 100 Years. This book was written by, I apologize if I say this wrong, Shabnam Khan, and it is a love story, which I didn't know I was gonna like, if not. But it's a love story between Mina and Akbar. Those are our two main characters. They met approximately 100 years before the book starts. The book starts with Sana moving into an old mansion that's been divided up into apartments with her father because she lost her mother. She's going through that tragic loss, and they move into this part in Africa, and she finds a abandoned room that looks like it hasn't been touched in several years, and it has some photographs of a couple. It has a diary that she's really interested in, has camera, has pictures, all kinds of stuff in there. Nobody's been in there, so everything's just covered in dust and what animals had gotten into. So she decides that she wants to figure out what's going on, what happened in this house. So she tries to decipher what's going on in the diary because it's written in a way that she doesn't understand. So 100 years ago, Akbar built the mansion. He had a private zoo with it. He built the mansion. He was super excited about it. And he built it because he had an arranged marriage with a woman named, I am terrible at these names, Jahanara, and they were married in India, and they moved to Africa. When they moved to Africa, he brought his mother, and they had two children in this mansion, and he ran some sugarcane fields and all of their production of sugar. So they were there. He was enjoying his work. They were living, and then he meets Mina while he's at work, and Mina is very poor. She is working out in the fields, and then he promotes her to work inside the factory as a cleaning woman. She doesn't understand why, but she's like, okay, I was out there, now I'm in here. And he decides he wants to marry her because he loves her. So he goes to her family, and they decide that yes, they will marry off their daughter to this rich man. And so she's married off. She tries to run away, but her parents bring her back to him, and she is super upset by this. She does not know this man. She does not love this man. She's like, I'm stuck here. Hopefully he will get bored with me soon and let me go. His wife and his mother are super pissed off. He brought a second wife into the family, which blindsided all of them. He just came up one day and said, I'm going to get a second wife, and then married Mina. And nobody could really tell him no. So they're there. His wife and his mother just deeply despise Mina, and they tell their children that this is just a terrible witch person who bewitched your father. And he goes to Mina every day. He tries to talk to her and just hang out around her. And finally, she's just like, why did you bring me here? What are you doing? What's your point? What do you want from me? And he tells her he really wants to talk to her. He loves her, and they start talking, and they do end up falling in love. And we get to see that love develop in the book, and then Mina gets pregnant. When Mina gets pregnant, that really upsets his wife more than what she was already previously upset. So she decides she is going to get rid of Mina. What she does is she lies to her husband, to Akbar, and tells him that some of her family members are super sick. They're about to die. They need to go back to India to be able to visit them before they die. And her mother in India writes her telegram saying, yeah, because she told her mother, I need you to send me this stuff saying these specific things. Her mother does. And they have to go to India. So he takes her and his mother and their children to India, leaving Mina at the mansion. And she tells him it's fine, it's okay, she can do well on her own, she'll just miss him while he's gone. So while she's gone, she sends all the servants, everybody away. She's like, I'm just going to use the kitchen and these two rooms. That's it. But what she doesn't know is that Jahanara paid the lion tamer to starve the lion for a few days, and then to release that lion into the mansion to attack Mina. And it would look like this terrible accident, and she gave him enough money that he can go off to wherever he wants to go after that, and it'd be not her fault. So the lion attacks Mina. She protects her baby and is able to save her baby, but she is unalived at this point. And when the servants come back the day before the family is to get the house ready for the family to come back, they see Mina. Her baby is there still crying. They go and hunt down the lion. The lion is killed. Akbar and his family comes back and they find out what happened to Mina. And the wife is just like, oh, that's so sad. That's so sad. Oh, well, I guess we're going to go back to normal. But she's upset that the baby still lived. Akbar is so upset by this that he cannot live without Mina. So he drowns himself in the ocean. And the night that everybody finds out that he drowned himself, the first wife packs up her whole family, including his mother, and they move back to India. That very night, you can still, everything was just like left there. They just packed what they had and they left. And so that happened 100 years before. When Sana finds all of these things, the diary, the pictures, and everything, we're introduced to the Djinn. The Djinn is a creature that's been alive for pretty much since time began, is how he puts it. And he can become corporeal and incorporeal, except he has been incorporeal for so many centuries that he cannot bring himself to become corporeal. Again, he can't be real. And he wandered around trying to be away from people because he didn't like humans. Until he wandered around and heard Mina singing. He was so intrigued with Mina that he just decided to follow her around. And she sings, she talks, and he was just kind of in love with Mina. And when this attack happened with the lion, he was so upset with himself because he could not save her. He could not make himself real. He could not talk to the lion as like he used to do. So he was just really upset. When she died, he went into mourning, which changed the weather and the atmosphere of the mansion. And it was kind of dilapidated until the new owner, which we find out is the son from Akbar and his first wife, comes back, trips up into apartments, and is kind of the landlord. They call him the doctor. And the doctor and Sana are trying to figure out, well, the doctor tells Sana what happened in the house after she figures out a lot of it. And the Djinn is there still mourning Mina 100 years later. And when they figure out what happens to Mina and the family, the doctor tells her that he came back because of his tragic life story, and that when he found out what happened from his mother, he kind of stopped talking to her, and he married somebody outside and just kind of broke everything off. And when she passed away, he came and took the house because he had the house. It was in his name. He lost his wife, and he wanted to reconnect with Mina's son, his brother. And the brother is a lawyer, a prominent lawyer in the community who's doing really well off. And so he wrote him letters, but he was too scared to talk to the lawyer until Sana's just like, you need to talk to him. That's your brother. He needs to know what happened. And so the doctor's like, yeah, tomorrow I'll go and I'll visit. And for some reason, a fire breaks out in the mansion. After he makes this decision, after we find out everything that happened with Mina and Akbar and Jahanara. And so when the fire happens, everybody's panicking. Sana's panicking because she can't get out of the house. And she's worried about herself. She's worried about her father and the other residents. And because the Djinn was reawakened with all of this, her going through Mina's stuff and bringing back all of the stories, he had enough energy that he was able to become corporal enough to help her escape. He guided her and her father out of the house, and they were both able to escape. So the house burns down. Almost all of the residents are fine. And we're introduced to each of the residents and have each of their backstories going on. But the doctor and the Djinn die in the mansion. And after the fire, the lawyer comes to the house because he received the letter from the doctor, and wants to tell him, or not Mina, Sana wants to tell him everything that happened to his mother, Mina, because he doesn't know. But she ends up just handing him the diary and kind of saying, like, there's a lot you need to know. So is it a totes or nope? I rated this book a 5 out of 5. I think that it is a totes from me. It was just so engrossing in its detail. The story and everything, you'd feel what the characters are feeling as it's happening throughout it, and the backstory that goes along with it. It was great. I really enjoyed it. But if you want a more in-depth review, check out the video in the description below. And like I said in my last video, if it's not in the description, that's because I haven't recorded it yet. I'm getting there. I'm catching up on those videos. It'll just take some time. So make sure you like, subscribe, and keep those notifications on so you'll be notified as soon as it's out. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you all have an amazing day, night, afternoon, whatever it is, where you are, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.